What's up? What's up? Welcome to the A Show. Come on in, come on in. I'm your host, April Hunter. Across from me is bin Hamin. Am I saying that right?
Yes, bin Hamin, that's right.
All right. Thank you for co-hosting with me.
I'm on here. I should be with the Illuminati hottie. I gotta step up my game, my beard game. I gotta oil up to compete with her lovely red hair and her sexy Sally Jesse Raphael gimmicks on. And
I can't say without these.
Hey, smart is sexy. Don't let them fool you. You wear them all day, and you wear them better than anybody else.
Thanks. Hey, Chuck. Welcome. How you be? So just waiting for people to come in. Oh, man. So it's Banned Book Week.
It's Banned Book Week?
It's Banned Book Week. And hello, Fred. What's up? So, yeah,
Fred, what's good, homie? Drop Dead Fred. I used to love that movie, Drop Dead Fred. I might have to fire that up. You remember that one?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still say a bunch of stuff from, back in the old movies. Like,
Sure.
I'm on it, Rose. Do you know where that's from? You guys know where that's from?
I'm on it, Rose.
I'm on it, Rose.
I feel like
So,
if you...
I will still say that all the time. Like, somebody will ask me to do something. I'm like, I'm on it, Rose. It's from the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh, yeah. I was on the tip of my tongue, too. I only could think it was Goonies for a minute. I was like, no, that's not it.
Nope. So, yeah, I love some of those. And every once in a while, somebody will understand and I'll pop. They're like, oh, my God, they got what I said.
Well, I like that, too. When I used to do improv, I would do not movie references, but deep cuts to something that was like a layered joke like that you had to go deep into your Gen X childhood and to pluck that string. And I would have people come up to me after shows and like, everybody else in here is an idiot. What you said in that one line was the best thing I'd heard ever at a comedy show. Like, I might not kill every time I get up, but I could usually hit one of those. And if somebody comes up to me at the end of the show waiting for you to tell you that, I feel like it
mission accomplished.
Right. We made a connection. We made a deep connection,
So Brian, hello. Chris, War Demon, hey yo, right back to you. Buckshot Kid, hello. Winona, hello. Hey, I picked up your gorgeous little sword necklaces today. I just got them. I just got a chance to look at them. Didn't get a chance to like really play with them or decide which one I'm giving Eva. So, but I love them. Thank you. And it's nice to see you guys. Allie, hello. Hi, Eva. Chuck's on vacation. Right on. You deserve it.
Nice. Yeah. So, next week, probably have a fill-in host. Thinking maybe Big Ray all day, or we'll get Dr. Jargo here because I'm going to be on my 10th anniversary in Mexico. So with my wife, number one. So
nice
break. Yeah.
Okay.
130 days straight I've gone. So we've been going hard.
You're gonna break the streak?
Yeah. That's what I usually have to do. Like after every quarter, I usually work an extra month and then we kind of take off for someplace. We were going to go back to Jamaica where we eloped 10 years ago, but the deal for Mexico was really great. So I look forward to it. Hanging out in Playa Morelos, a little below Cancun, a little away from everything else. So it'll be a good time.
Sounds like paradise.
Yeah.
So, hey, AB Twitch. Hello, Alexa. Hey, Lori. What's up, dog? How are you doing? So you're asking if I'm doing well. Hi, Steven. I had a hell of a weekend. I worked at Comic-Con, and if I got to see any of you there, thank you. It was a small little Comic-Con called PalmCon in Palm Beach, Florida, not California. And it was really good. It was really fun. I mean, like, no one's getting rich off of it. Like, it was a slower, smaller one, but it was the people who ran it really nicely. And I love you too, FRXX. I didn't grab your name, but I have a feeling that I might have an idea who you are. So, it was a good little convention. My friend came with me. Eva came with me, which she's immensely helpful, and it's just nice to work and travel with your friends.
Sure.
And the promoter put us up not one night, but 2 nights. So we got the extra night in Palm Beach. So we've been doing really good about kind of getting the beach in before we get home. And we managed to do that on this particular day. And when I was asking, she goes, "What's that bruise? It looks like it really hurt." Well, that's what I'm getting at. So I love the Atlantic Ocean, and on that side, the waves are they're just so much nicer. It's loud, it's beautiful. And over here we have, we have the bay, but it's not. Yeah, that's my bruise. What do I say?
Oh yeah, she's turning green on you now.
Yeah.
She's turning green on you now.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, you guys, not only is it Titty Tuesday, sorry to interrupt, but you just got the hippie shake ash some bits. If we're getting all these curves out here today, you guys, come on, let's go. I see you all out there, but yeah, you got in the ocean, and the ocean got you. I didn't think the ocean would treat such a mermaid after you showed out at the PalmCon as a mermaid.
I was Ariel.
Hold on.
So here's what happened, and Chris, go ahead and take a little survey. Help yourself. You guys chat amongst yourselves. Anyway, what happened was I got into the water. I got into the water, and I'm like, oh, I'm out here. It's gorgeous. I don't have any makeup on, but I've got, like hair in a bun and my glasses up. And I'm like, I'm just going to do a little selfie and put it up on Instagram or put it up for the fans or whatever. Or just remember that one day I used to be, young and cute. So I do my little thing. I'm in the water, having fun. And then I see people over at the jetties. I go out to the waves. Good time. Go over the jetties. I see mom and the kids. I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's like a warm bath or something over there. So I go over to check it out. This is a big mistake. So first off, the rocks feel like they're rough. They're like coral. And hi, cool, awesome dude. So I'm trying to climb all over them, and I'm feeling like my foot's going to get sliced because they're all sharp. Yeah. So I'm climbing all over, and there's like one really tall one behind me, and I'm on a flat one, and there's a medium-sized one here, and there's another one over here. And I had about 2 seconds. I'm here, and I look, and I see the wave coming. And I was like, oh, fudge. I had that Ralphie moment.
Yeah, like, no.
And my brain's doing the calculations, like, and right away, I'm like, okay, I can't go that way. If I jump that way, the way this thing's coming, it's going to throw me back into this right here.
Right.
So, and I can't go down because there's another rock there. I'm literally stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, and it is coming for me. So all I did was I turned sideways and held on. I crouched down and held on. That motherfucker ripped me right off that rock and threw me out into the ocean, first bashing me against the rock that was behind me. And as soon as I hit, I was like, fuck, shad, right? This is how it happened with shad.
Yeah, like that's
the first thing I thought of was shad.
Yeah, when I saw that it happened to you, I thought that's scary.
So I start going sideways as not to get caught in the undertow, because that was the first thing I thought of, is like, if you, like, I used to be a lifeguard, and if I swear to God, it was a combination of lifeguard and wrestling that saved my ass. Yeah. So, somehow I just instinctively curled, turning sideways, got my hip instead of my head. And Eva said she saw it, and she was just like, oh my God. She said it looked bad. The lifeguard started coming down. She said that she thought I bashed my face or my head against the rock. I ended up standing up. I'm like, I'm okay. Everything's good. I'm good.
It could have been a lot worse. I mean, it wasn't great, but it could have been a lot worse in a scary situation.
Yeah, and I stood up and I walked out, and I was like, I said to her, I was like, it's kind of embarrassing because I got slammed. I mean, I was like, boom, hit that rock. I guess everybody saw it. So I kind of walk out, and then as I get out, my hip starts bleeding. So I see the blood start trickling down. I was like, yeah, I got it pretty good. I'm going to go back in the water and see if I can, between the water and the salt, maybe clean it out a little bit. And then we had that ice thing. I put it right on there, and I think maybe between the salt water and the ice thing, caught it in time that it didn't get into anything really bad.
What you just showed us here in real time, it looks like usually a bruise is like into a week, and you're kind of past it in 3 days. So I think treating it right away with that might have definitely taken some of the sting and the swelling out of it at the same time. But I'm glad you're okay. I mean, even though you got bumped up, I'm sure in matches you might even taken worse things than that. So, but the ocean is not to be fucked with.
No, and it's funny, not funny, haha, but funny. I'm stupid, haha. Every time I go over there, You'd think I'd learn my lesson because I got punched in the motherfucking face by the ocean. Like the last time I was there, maybe not the last time, but the time before that, I was like talking to my friends. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I turn around and this wave goes boom over the top of my head. My glasses got, I don't know, they went to Japan. I have never, never saw them ever again. I actually scoured and looked for them because I liked them. They're gone. Yeah. He was going tuck and roll. It's like that's
tuck and roll.
I can't tell you how many times I've almost died, not just in the ocean, but I mean just in general. So I was like, "Fuck!" There goes another one of my 9 lives right there.
Oof, well, I'm glad you're good for sure on that. And for those who don't know, and I'm sure we got most of you guys are wrestling crossover fans here. We do want to. We mentioned Shad. We always think about him as in the scary situation like this. A guy we came up with at OVW who lost his life. Shad Gaspard from Crime Time, and he saved his son. And that guy, the point is, it doesn't matter. I mean, not that April's frail by any means. She's a very strong woman, and obviously a Wendy Peppercorn strong swimmer as well if she needs to be. But that ocean, Shad is a larger than life dude, and it can take him. It can take anybody. So you got it can mesmerize you. It definitely can recharge you and whatnot. But in an instant, you're out of your element. That's why we'll visit there. That's why sharks don't come hang out on your front lawn. You can enjoy it, but it can get dangerous real quick. And always have a plan or buddy system. But I'm glad that they were on the spot and there were lifeguards there, so you didn't get sucked out to sea. And that was the last we saw of Hottie right there.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I want you to remember this, okay? Because I'm saying this. When I die. And yes, I'm okay. But when I die, I really want you to start with the tasteless jokes, like immediately. Like immediately. Don't even wait for the body to get cold. Just start right away. Matter of fact, you can start now if you want. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we'll get some pre-written material, so we got stuff in the can ready to go.
Go ahead, definitely. So it was funny too because we had I think I had a premonition something was up because I saw the lifeguards. I was like, yeah, let's just park our stuff here. At least we'll be safe.
Right.
Not realizing we might have needed that.
Fred sharing some heavy stuff here, and our thoughts go out to you, man. If you lost a friend in the ocean, which I'm, sure it is. But if there's one thing I can kind of not get behind because it's scary and you don't want to think about it too much of what they got to go through, getting taken by nature is kind of a noble thing, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm kind of okay with that. Like, man versus nature is actually an entire theme for film writing.
Right.
So,
unless you're, what's his name? We got screwed by the bear in the woods there. Leonardo DiCaprio. That was a rough scene getting fucked by a bear in the woods.
Yeah. Twice.
That's a tough way to go.
It came back for more. Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Oh, Allie, you're hilarious. Dark humor is like a kid with cancer. It never gets old.
Oh, my. We got a first point.
Dark humor is like food. Not everybody gets it.
Right. And Winona, my new Facebook friend as well. Thank you for the request this week. Keeping up what we're doing with Hamin Media Group. But tonight you're right here at the A Show with April Hunter, Ben Hamin. I'm going to turn off the background music. I like this little chill background vibe, though. I don't know if it interrupts in how you guys can hear us or not.
Okay.
But that was Ducks.
Feel free to turn it up. And yes, Alexa, you're right. Humans always lose and nature always wins.
But we are nature. You know what I mean? We're a part of it. We think we're above it, but it's just our own ego where we can be part of the food chain just as easily real quick. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a scary situation. But I'm glad you had a good time in the cons, getting to relate to the fans and doing all the cosplay that you do so well. So awesome stuff all the way around. I was thinking about what
if I died, my birth date and my death date would have been almost the same.
Oh, complete the circle of life, right? Like
I know.
Oh, Allie RX.
Allie.
Strong. I'll tell mine because I didn't tell it this year. Because obviously everything I do is related to the 9/11 tragedy and character and satire. But knock.
Who's there?
9/11.
9/11 who?
You said you never forget.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Yeah. You got to whisper it in their ear. That's the key. So to sell. Yeah, man. We were talking offline about like, what do we want to talk about tonight? Go ahead, please.
Wait. You want to hear my favorite racist joke?
Oh, do I want to get canceled? Let's go.
How many cops does it take to change a light bulb?
How many cops does it change to shake a light bulb?
0. They just beat the room for being black.
Oh, that's strong. That's strong coffee right there. That's strong coffee. All these jokes, we didn't write them. Like somebody told us.
We're just passing them along.
Yeah, we're just a conduit to bad humor. But it's the
sorry to the cops out there.
Yeah,
anything can be funny. Anything can be funny. I just think, oh, Allie, you're just killing it tonight.
He's going strong. There's
I
don't think there is any racism if you smash every race along the way. Is it racism because you're just an equal opportunity offender? You know.
My favorite are redhead jokes. I love them. Just do it. Just go for it. By the way, it is Banned Books Week, you guys. So I know a lot of people don't read anymore, but if you do, well done, because you're doing what the government doesn't want you to do. So if you're into the idea of reading and you're not actually reading, pick up a banned book this week and celebrate Banned Book Week. You can go to bannedbookweek.org and find a list. Help yourself. So there are plenty to choose from, and that list is growing ever day by day from both sides. You got to love our political, our divide and conquer. But
yeah, it's like they do it now just as a reason to try to gain a leg up. They're not even worried about the content or what it is, saying. And even if it's something you don't agree with, you should be able to read it. And then you're triggered by it, whether it's, a story that's outside of what your morality is in some way. At least then you can judge it in that way. And it's supposed to get a reaction. Like, it's not supposed to make you live your life. Every book isn't the Bible. Like, it can be just there to.
Apparently, that was banned in all forms too in Texas classrooms, which surprised me. It's Texas, and Brian, I'm laughing. That is pretty funny. I like it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get bannedbookweek.org.
That's just one of many URLs. You can just search some stuff. I remember having to go up to Canada back when Canada used to be like a cool place to go.
Yeah.
And I had to go there to get To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, I never understood, obviously aside from the Southern racist stuff when it came to integration of why to go against it. But that was never too hot button to me, but I know that's one of the most famous ones, right?
Yeah. And Chuck says a library isn't a good library if it doesn't have something in it to offend everyone.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's even talk. I'm not trying to diss you, man. If you go to the library, that's awesome. But like, isn't that an antiquated, experience these days? I mean, we absolutely need them to catalog the history of mankind's thoughts, but I don't know how long until it's digital download everything right to your head, man, and the lenses you wear on your eyes, you can read it from. So it's weird that we had to have these physical mediums in books, but the thoughts can all be written down digital, Kindle, whatever it is now, or books on tape. I know those are way more popular, especially in wrestlers being on the road and things along those lines. I never got into them too much. Maybe like Sun Tzu Art of War I'll have on the background while I'm doing business, but to listen to a novel, I just haven't really done that. I may enjoy it. I just haven't tried.
I don't know. It's a cool way to, get in something that you wouldn't have time to read.
Yeah.
And, as long as you're getting it in, I don't know. You said something about digital downloads and stuff. I don't know if that will be a thing so much as we just progress along the way we've been, where our mind is so busy and over occupied all the time because of things like Instagram feeds and TikTok feeds, and we're just filling it up with garbage. Like I don't know if we cover this, but the TikTok algorithms for the West, because this is a Chinese social media platform. So the algorithms for China for TikTok show a lot of positivity. It's a lot of winning, a lot of people doing well and building things and excelling in their classes and how to make stuff. And the algorithm that they've placed for the West is a lot different. It's a lot of stupidity and divide and
put some milk crates up and bust your ass and fall on them as hard as you can.
Yeah, a lot of ice bucket challenge crap.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched somebody do something where they got slapped in the face with a tortilla or something not too long ago. Even one of my friends did that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you're smarter than that. Why are you doing this stupid shit?
Because we're addicted to fame and virtue, vanity clicks and things along those lines. And then all you need to do is make $15 one month on some ad revenue, and then you're doubly hooked on doing some dumb shit, right?
I guess so. And hi, Wolf. Hello. How are you? So Fred says the problem with history is it's so effing skewed that you never know how accurate it is. It's like people denying slavery in school. It's like you mofos is so wrong, teach both sides of it. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about slavery. They act as if America, is the end all be all of slavery. Slavery has been the rule, not the exception in the world. So as long as there have been people, there have been slaves. And this is not particular to any certain race. I mean, humans have always taken slaves. And as far as the slaves in Africa, the worst offenders were the African kings that were rounding up their own people to sell to the highest bidder and shove them onto the boats. Nobody talks about that. There were also indentured servants. So after the war with England and Scotland, they rounded up all the Scottish, put them in jail, shipped them over here. And same with the Irish too. They were indentured servants. So it wasn't quite the same as slavery, but it was still, you weren't free. So you were working and building this country, and you could not go home. You were taken away from your family. So this has happened, and we don't ever really talk about it, and nobody acknowledges it. And if you do, you get kind of,
Well, it's like, oh, I'm not the right color to pass a judgment, so everyone their white guilt kind of takes them out of it, as opposed to looking at the real history.
But this isn't it's not an emotional thing, it's a fact. So
right, but it's just like I don't want to deal with it because who knows who's judging me, and it's the paranoia. But I like to take it even farther than that. I mean, if you're going Moses and Egyptians and let Pharaoh let my people go and the whole nine. What is in our DNA that made us slaves? And I can bash the Catholic Church for rewriting history all day long, but if we're talking about possible Sumerian gods that ruled that era for 60,000 to 6,000 years, some of them that were found in these texts, that if God made man in his own image and we're addicted to gold, a lot of people think we were gold mine engineered slaves that were only allowed to use X amount of our consciousness because they turned off whatever genetic codes in our DNA. But you can say that we were pre-programmed to be slaves. And after whatever leadership left this planet or ancient alien theory you want to study, if they made us in their own image, slavery and power and being at the top of the pyramid structure, pun intended, that's just going to be handed down. And it really has only been the last 400 years that we've tried to be enlightened enough to not enslave humankind, no matter whatever. But it's an easy, fourth grade lesson to wrap it all up in a clean bow for a small-minded child that you're trying to introduce to the ilks of mankind. And then if it's not all there, I can see people who are grown being irate about what they're teaching. So you can see both sides of the coin, but how hard are you supposed to go with and then you did this and I'm owed that? Well, but you all watch the Queen get buried today instead of going taking all the jewels and giving them back to India, Africa, all that kind of shit, so it's all lip service and hypocrisy at the end of the day, just to be able to cry whatever happened to your relatives 4 or 5,000, 100 years ago. Like,
Well, it's yeah, as Player said, slavery is still really a thing. It's just not mainstream anymore.
sure.
And that could almost segue us into something I was reading. What are we doing that we might be turning into a new type of slave,
Mm, yeah.
not a traditional type, but a slave to
Debt,
a,
slavery.
a certain lifestyle, certain, you know what I mean? This certain thing with the electronics and having to have the newest and latest, and the mindset of living a certain way. Slave to work, slave to government, where, work, eat, sleep, repeat. And it's not a very healthy lifestyle. Most people can't balance. They're not balancing very well. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as, even the root words of mortgage and things like that for mortuary and from till death, right? Like, we got you in this contract, you signed it, and now you're gonna have to
30
try and,
years.
yeah, right. Like, it's just a deal to, okay, because I got to live this way. But I think the minimalist lifestyle, even though I don't necessarily live it, we try and strip down and not accumulate too much extra. But that's just part of life, and what we do as squirrels trying to gather our nuts for winter, is the things you own end up owning you.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you strip that back and take more ownership in your life and not define yourself through physical items that you may or may not need to bring yourself dopamine hits of stature or clout? But girls got to look cute, they like their stuff.
Well, here's a not to do list. Here's some things that can mess with your day. These are micro habits.
Okay.
Micro habits that you should think about quitting. And this is not me writing it. This is written by somebody named Tim Denning, and I came across a couple things I'll share with you guys today. And this was fascinating. One is giving mental energy to bad customers or crappy people. So he suggests giving people less attention, less time, do the bare minimum, and sell them on going to your competitors if they drain you. So
that's interesting. I that's something I could definitely deal with. I like to, obviously interact with the Hamin Media Group faithful, who are the reason why I get up every day to keep podcasting and able to keep the lights on from their support. But there's other people that, in wrestling, we say no sell. Like,
yeah.
I can't have to sell for anybody. And like, it's easy to look, oh, they got 8 followers. Okay, I'm not going to get baited into something that way just because I'm having an emotional reaction because they want to lash out for whatever's going on in their small lives, So I try and quantify it, but it's still a human at the end of the day. And if they're gonna throw darts, you want to throw them back. But it's some turn the other cheek type stuff, or even don't even take it seriously. Why would I waste my energy and time on this when it can be so much better spent on the people who do support us? But they're putting that negative energy out there all the time. It's up for us to no sell it, as what I take away.
Yes, I think hurt people, right? And Matt says we're slaves to our technology. Einstein once said that we'll become reliant on tech that will signal the downfall of mankind. And
Well, do you just change the word from mankind to man unkind? Like, is it not like, oh, they're all gonna die, and maybe we all do nuke each other, who knows? But is just was there an era of mankind to help your brother, everybody get together, try and love one another right now, and then technology kills that, and what he's saying is we're in our own singularity and we don't give a shit about anybody's fucking trip or nothing else, you know what I mean? Oh yeah.
Cool, awesome dude. So I don't see any bits yet.
Yeah, we need.
I got titties, but no bitties. And by the way, thank you to all of you who are on Patreon, the A Show, who have subscribed to the A Show through Twitch. We appreciate it. And you can get on here through your Amazon Prime account. So you get a free Twitch account with your Prime. So if you're using it for us, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I see some biddies. And I'll show you some titties. So the next micro habit not to do is flogging the monkey during the day. It says everyone gets a little hot and heavy at times. It's human nature. But the bear trap is we can give in to temptation and flog the monkey at random times during the day when it's not productive. The energy is best saved up and used in a real life encounter with another person. I might disagree with that because people are tiring. Like Winona said, some days you just don't feel like peopling very much. Sometimes it's far more productive not to people, but I get what he's saying. A lot of times people will just, spend random amounts of time snapping the carrot, so.
That's what I was going to say. Is it just flogging a monkey, or are you slamming the clam too? Is that like off limits as well?
I would imagine it's the whole umbrella there.
That's an interesting. We can have
you jam the clam as well.
Yeah, we can. You guys, that's big. That's big bits to jam the clam. That's big. I mean, we're talking, 10 figures.
So here's another one: playing phone lottery.
Sorry, can we go back to that because about the masturbation stuff? Because I think it's
go ahead.
And I would like to hear the woman's take on it because some guys will like rub one out to kill sexuality before they go out on a date or what have you. So for whatever reason, and I wonder if women do the same thing. Plus, I also saw this thing about, I think they call it dipping, where girls will masturbate and then or just scent themselves with their own pheromones. You know what I mean? Take a little down there and then behind the ears.
Heard that one.
And,
really?
and girls said they would go out to bars and before they would get no play, and then that night the night they did that to test it scientifically, they come home with like 3 to 5 numbers, same like trap, and they get free drinks and all that stuff, but dotting themselves with their own scent.
Really? That's crazy interesting. It's funny. It's somewhere in I think it's Lithuania just came out with potato chips that are the flavor of pussy.
Well, what's her name has her own candle scent, right?
Yes. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Thank
you. Ever say because Gwyneth does it, everybody's like, well, April must do it. Why don't you make a candle? I was like, yeah, you guys. You wouldn't be able to afford it. So yeah, so women, I can't speak for all women, I guess. My friends and I talk a little bit, and I mean, when we went to FetCon, there was a woman there that was talking about all the health benefits of masturbating, what it does for you not neurologically, what it does for your health, it brings in your own testosterone naturally. So there are a lot of benefits to masturbating. I think the point of this micro habit that he's talking about is you don't need to be doing it 3 to 5 times a day.
Right. It's addiction. It's addiction to dopamine hit from orgasm. Yeah. Right. And then it's easy like to go down the Pornhub rabbit hole, and then it goes from what would be considered to, I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody, be into whatever sadistic behavior you're into. But
you're hurting yourself if you would. Right. Oh yeah. It's just
right. So you can just get addicted. So I know I don't know, everyone's tired of Generation Useless and they can blame it on kids or whatever they want. But I know there's a micro movement to create young men. And a big part of this is abstinence from like better men is abstinence from porn and masturbation. Like there's definitely an underground movement with that. Now, if they're just saying they're doing it and they're still whacking it, I can believe that too. But
isn't that unhealthy? You're not supposed to not masturbate as a guy.
Well, what does it come down to? Is it self-control versus guilt?
What does it come down to?
Oh, it does come down to that. It's about discipline over your emotions and urges, and to use them and to not give into them all the time. You know what I mean? And once you can do that, what else can't you do? Is that standing in your way?
No, I'm talking about having a healthy prostate. Like you're supposed to have an emission twice a week to keep your prostate healthy.
Okay. Like, and right. even if it's that, and it's not like they're like, no, like a hard no, I'm not jerking off for a year at all. Whatever. I'm abstinent.
What is it? Lent? It's Lent.
Right. Whatever you got to give up for it. So it's just interesting in that one micro habit of there seems to be a lot of different takes on both sides with that, and they're both kind of extreme to the outsides of it.
Well, that's what we do in America. We are extreme. All right. Out of Fox. Hello, hello. Donkey wrench. Yeah, exactly. And you can get hairy palms. All right. Here are some more. Playing phone lottery. Calls from private numbers are more common as computers and bots can now dial phone numbers to see who answers. So yeah, obviously we need to just ignore those numbers. Hang on a second. Checking emails every hour. Emails a time drain. It's like being taken into an underground world with Alice in Wonderland. There's so much time to lose. Try
That
batch.
seems like a very office-y person to me who would be checking like interweb stuff, because
Yeah.
I have 4 different email accounts, and I'll check, like, if the only time I'm really checking them is if the phone alerts me that something came in on one. I'm not like, who sent me an email, and let me check the thread of this or the other. But I can see where someone in an office or cubicle each day, that can become obsessive to them.
Yeah. Now here's a good one. Having your phone next to you. This one I totally agree with. I leave mine in the kitchen. So he says the phone is a slot machine. The brain cannot help but look at her gorgeous rainbow colors and pull the lever to see what notifications are on the home screen. I don't care whether you pass Navy SEAL training. No human can resist the allure of a phone a few inches away. The curiosity factor is just too much. Humans were not designed to have our attention hijacked hundreds of times a day. So use the natural human laziness we're born with to your advantage and put your phone in another room when you're trying to do deep work or focus.
Wow, I'm super guilty of that one, because, in the Matrix, when Neo even gets the phone right in the very beginning and he looks at it, it's like, and he can't let it go out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find myself, and maybe this is, excuse me, something even subsonic, of when I'm going to leave the room. I almost look back like I have to get it. Is the phone emitting some type of signal that is subsonic that I can't even hear, that says, take me with you, take me with you, take me with you? Or am I that addicted as well? And to be honest,
we're addicted.
I think, is it both? Because this is another little off topic thing. So I went and tanned at Planet Fitness, right, before Mexico, so I don't get burned up. And when you're done with the stand-up tan, this background music comes on. I feel myself change. I think there's some subliminal messaging in it that you can't hear, but it gives me the willies every time. No other music. I could have my earphones in or what have you. When that music plays, when that closes, I feel like sign up for the black or something. Like, you can't hear anything, but like, I feel something weird happen to my body that they put in there. So I feel that when I walk away from the phone, and that's my own personal dopamine addiction, because I do social media management and managing HMG and all that. So we're constantly on it.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's how I make my living. So it's interesting to be like, is it really calling to you? Like, stop, get away from me. And then even when I leave it downstairs, I'll have to make the conscious choice of like, okay, I walked away, and then it's not as bad. But then you also get, if it's down here and I forgot that I left it there, where is it? Mm-hmm. The frantic, like, my lifeline. It's almost like your kid has gone in the mall, like, Johnny, where are you? Like, all of a sudden the little kid walking around, that feeling. So it definitely triggers some panic for sure.
Yeah. Here's a good one. For email, you can, how do you put it? If you want to avoid 95% of promotional spam in your inbox, just set up a Gmail filter that moves any email, any email with the word unsubscribe into a separate folder. Welcome to a clean inbox, except for my messages, my newsletters. You want to leave those.
Right. No one would unsubscribe from that. They'd be fools.
But yeah, those are a couple of things. And 2 other things he recommends: walking past trash. He said, leave the world a better place than you found it. So every time you see trash, pick it up and throw it away. And the other one is seeing an innocent person obliterated in the comments as entertainment. If you see an innocent person copying a beating in the comments on social media, quit seeing it as fun or entertaining. Stand up for the underdog. And on that, I wanted to say something. So this is something I didn't understand. I saw a lot of people passing around a meme about after the queen died about leaving the kingdom in good hands. Have you seen this meme
I
where they're
perhaps.
picking on Prince Charles's hands, who is now King Charles?
Oh yeah.
So, and it really it kind of pissed me off because I'm thinking to myself, if you want to criticize, because apparently he's got something going on with his hands where his hands swell.
Right.
So, and they would compare his
I do know
fingers
what
to,
you're
huh?
referencing. I am aware of
Yeah.
what you're referencing now. Yeah.
So they kept like comparing his fingers to sausages and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's shitty. So you want to like rip somebody apart, do it for the job they're doing or not doing. Don't rip them apart because of something that they can't help. So the dude obviously has a medical condition. Why are people targeting what he looks like? And these are usually the same people that don't like to be picked on for what they look like.
Yeah, like don't go at the hands.
Um,
Go at the root of it, which is being inbred because of incest. Like let's like
get,
don't just
pick
like you
the
guys
WEF. Go with that.
right, right. Like you guys can hit a lot harder than that. I mean, come on, like just to do some little short, stumpy fingers, but you see it, and that's not a working man's hands, and I think that's what they, triggers them, and it's an easy shot, but you're really taking a shot at somebody with a disability to some degree. But
Or a condition.
yeah, I say line them all up
Yeah.
and put them in front of a firing squad anyway. So I'm not the guy to ask on that one. But yeah, the going through your emails to unsubscribe, man, this guy just must get a ton of emails all the time because I don't trip off of like, oh, it's a spam, you know what I mean, that much. I just don't have time to acknowledge that kind of stuff. I know what business I'm doing kind of 24/7, what's coming and going. So, but maybe some people who are just working a desk job and online shopping all day long, that's a big part of their time waste. So I don't want to discredit that.
I get so much spam.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, maybe those things can help. Another thing that I was thinking about was how can you come off as a strong person if you don't look like a strong person? How do you sound like a strong person? And one of those is being aware of the words that end with ly. So when in your conversation, there's certain things you should say or not say. And you can also say them on purpose to make yourself look like a weaker person if you're trying to let someone else dominate and you be more submissive. So here's an example. Like really is an ly word. Or hang on, I wrote a couple. Fairly is an ly word. So here's an example. So you ask somebody for something, do you have a reservation at this hotel? Or I was hoping you could find my reservation at this hotel. So, oh yes, birthday. Yeah, it's Saturday, and I love the presents. I love
Nice.
Actually,
Nice.
I love the gift cards.
She
So
does love the Amazon gift cards, you guys.
I love the Amazon gift cards. Yeah. So if someone says, I'm fairly certain we don't have a reservation for you, or I'm pretty certain, or I feel really certain that we don't have this for you. That's your key to dig in deeper. Anytime you see an ly word, they didn't say, no, we don't have anything. So that means that maybe they do. Maybe there's a word.
So using an ly word kind of gives up ground and leaves an in for somebody to take the power back in a conversation. Yeah. Is that what I'm kind of hearing?
Yeah. So if you use an ly word or a weaker word, it makes you look weak. So if someone asks you a direct question, do you have a reservation for me? No, I don't. Sorry. Try again next week. But if someone says, I'm fairly certain we don't, that's when you wiggle in there and say, well, if it's not a problem, do you think you could check? So now if you want to look submissive to somebody, like you need them to do something for you, it's often a good idea to let them be dominant and you be submissive, then you take on the ly words. So I was really hoping you could just check, or if you take on those words and let them be the strong person. So that
Right.
maybe this is the subtle art of using language to manipulate and
Mm,
get what you
that's
need.
very interesting. That's
Hmm.
very interesting because I was watching some stuff on Rosicrucians and using language in the right way
Yeah,
to
that's where I get it
actually
from.
do and put it over. But you also have to kind of make the humble deal with whatever creator you believe in that you won't use your power for evil, because
Yes.
once you learn those techniques, you can easily get for yourself what you want. And I'm not saying some masters of the universe don't you do that, but that that's will quickly take you out of the good graces, and that karma will come back to get you. So
Yeah.
that's why you see um, a lot of that, whether it's
Do no harm. Do no
yeah.
harm with it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's something where you just need to get somewhere, uh you need to get an advantage for yourself where it's not going to harm somebody else. Yeah, definitely learn the tricks. So,
Yeah, and sometimes you have to play the submissive. It's not necessarily like I have to talk this way to have power.
mm-mm,
It's in the situation to get what you need to get done. You
mhm.
may have to play the lower hand and to get that in a power struggle where you know the other person is going to be the alpha and you're fine with that and you need to make them comfortable with it. So it's not a right or wrong argument. It's more of the use of language to convey the needs of whatever character you need to play,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Like just is another word. Like I just want to ask you, it'll just take a minute. I'm just saying, don't use just.
Yeah.
So,
Like is one of
I'm
my
saying it will take a minute. I want to ask you something. So
yeah.
don't throw just in there. Or don't say I hope that's okay. If you're if you're conversating, I hope that's okay. You're speaking to your friends. But if you're going into a situation where you need to have an authoritarian tone, you're giving up your authority in the conversation if you say I hope that's okay. So
Right.
unless you're trying to do that deliberately. Instead, so thanks for the consideration or I appreciate the help.
Hmm.
So, because it's weak. It's weak. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, I'd like to definitely study more about how to control and manipulate the conversation in my own way.
Mhm.
Sometimes I feel like with my cursing, it's passionate, but I gets lost. People are like, no, don't stop. I'm like, yeah, that's just the New York asshole in me, and it's tough to turn it off sometimes. But
Player.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
player says you're strong when you appear weak, and you're weak where you appear. Sorry, when you're strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. Yes, I was actually gonna talk to people about that.
yeah,
Like,
is
to
that
see if
Sun Tzu right there? Is that Sun Tzu article?
no,
Oh,
48 Laws of Power, Robert
okay.
Greene. This is not a good way to live your life. Um, as far as your personal life, it is great for business to learn how to manipulate, and if you're being manipulated. So, yeah, well, just saying is kind of
I was
funny.
just saying.
So, the number one law, I was going to see if you guys want to go over a law every week, but I've never, number one law, don't ever outshine the master. And knowing how to use these language um, tips will help you with that, where you need to appear weak and when to appear strong. Hi, Chowny Man. How are you? So, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how good you are. If you make people uncomfortable because you're that talented
Yeah.
and you make people um, be aware of their own flaws because you're that good, they're going to not be comfortable around you and they'll find a reason to get rid of you.
Well, welcome to my whole black ball from the wrestling career on the upper echelon.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying way too much real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, for sure. I love that Sun Tzu Player 180 as well. I listen to it over and over, and I always take away something different every time, depending on how I look. If I have a problem, I'll throw it on and find a different solution. It's incredible as far as Allie with one cheer. We'll give her one titty hit. Boom.
It's him. Allie's a him.
Oh, it's
Cool, awesome dude. What have you got? You've said you just found out something surprising. And you know what? Better late than never, Johnny Man. I appreciate you being here.
glad you're here.
Hmm.
Uh, great list of what not to do's. I'd like I was looking up ones that were yeses, to start state of life, and there's all the get more sleep, start eating better, drink the water every morning. But visualization technique, I think, is becoming a big thing with me. Just because I get these, I don't masturbate them out fully, but business boners, I call them. When there's an opportunity that presents itself and it's something that I want, usually they would say, "Don't wish for it, because then you won't be disappointed when you don't get it." You know what I mean? Like, and I don't like to be in that mindset. I'm trying to visualize things that I already want happening, that I already say it's done. We just got to get this in there and bang, bang, boom, and then we're going to close the deal. Like it's, also saw recently Michael Keaton kind of explain the same thing of people as actors hate to go on auditions. Well, you just need to reframe the argument, and the audition is like going to work. Like you walk in, not like I already got it, but if you're out of the mindset of like, I really want this and I'm going to get it. And when you don't, it's that much harder. And then you dread the audition. If you just look at the audition as part of the entire part of your work process, you even getting to go.
Don't have attachment to the outcome.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it changes the anxiety levels. I'm sure the brainwave levels of what you're trying to do. And you can kind of relax in the cut a little bit more and be an even better version of yourself and not a fake version.
Yeah, I agree. And they always, and like Eva says, sit in the moment. They say that you should act as if you have already gotten it.
Yeah.
Because that the energy responds to your energy. So the more you feel lack, like, I don't have this and this happened to me and oh my God, I have another bill to pay and shit, fuck. The more you have that, the more you draw that to you. Whereas if you look at your bills like, okay, I'm just contributing, I'm putting more money back into my local economy by paying these bills.
Sure.
And
I saw somebody said
it's just part of the process. I got a broken phone screen. Oh, well, I guess it's about time I have a broken phone screen. Motherfucking keys went into it today. Yeah, I guess it's time it lasted me this long. Just kind of go through that. What were you saying?
Buying stock in the things that you use every day will change your perception of when you buy them. Hey, I'm just reinvesting in the company, even if it is you own.
Yeah.
2 shares of Johnson & Johnson. When you buy Q-tips, you feel like, hey, I'm buying the brand that I invest in. Way, you know what I mean?
Welcome back, Wolf.
Yeah, he's in
I agree. That makes sense. Somebody for my birthday one year sent me $5 worth of Starbucks stock many years ago. It was one of my fans, actually. And every year or every couple of months, I get a thing on that. And it has actually grown.
Oh,
that was really cool. It was just $5 worth of Starbucks stock because I drink so much coffee. But I think about that when I get a Starbucks card, too.
Yeah, and definitely get her some weed stocks because that's about to blow up next.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's
I'll think about it every time I eat an edible. I feel like I'm putting some money back into this.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to mention is that this is something that drives me nuts. And I don't know if it drives you nuts. And this is everybody is guilty of this. This is no one side or another. But I'm going to use what appears to be one side just for the sake of the argument. So Americans, we are really good at being hypocritical. Like, we are so good at being hypocrites. It's like we are in the hypocrite Olympics and we are going for the gold. So what I don't understand is somebody help me out here. Somebody help me explain this to me, because I can't wrap my head around it. With all the stuff going on right now, I'm seeing all these people freaking out about abortion rights, right? Now, just to state, I'm pro-choice. Like, I'm personally pro-life, but I'm pro-choice for everybody else.
Sure.
So you live your life, you do what works best for you. I don't live your life, so I wouldn't make your choices. So having said that, everybody's freaking about pro-choice stuff, right? But at the same time, these same people were trying to force mandates on people because they said it was irresponsible not to get a shot for other people. It was irresponsible to grandma not to get a shot for other people. But yet Now, here we are a year later. Now they're freaking out about abortion rights. Not once have they mentioned irresponsibility. But at the end of the day, fewer than 2% of unplanned pregnancies are because of rape, incest, or failure
Right.
due to birth control. So that means the rest are all due to irresponsibility. So why is it irresponsible to not get a jab to the point where you could be segregated from society? But it's everybody's duty to deal with the irresponsibility. And I'm not judging, but the irresponsibility that comes with not using birth control. Why is that okay, but this one is not? And let me tell you, if you think that one is killing grandma, trust me, the other one's killing grandma too, because where do you think that kid's going to end up? It's going to end up with grandma.
Yeah,
and it's going to ruin grandma's life.
Is a depopulation at both ends of the spectrum. I mean, they can easily make it a race issue of the percentages in lower income communities, minority communities, and then they come up with these little catchphrases to have women united and no man's going to tell me what to do with my body. Meanwhile, they're doing like 16 other things over here. It's just a misdirection spot where they get to do what they really want to do evil wise. So people can have something to go crazy about. And that's very, you want to talk banned books, 1984, that's the 2 minutes of hate with Goldstein, whatever the hot button thing is this week, so we can get them with the, get out there and march on Washington with the pussy hats on again. Remember we had them that way?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh, and Allie says vax passports are the worst thing about this. So, you live in New York.
Yeah,
and I live in Florida, so we don't have anything like that here. And it's weird how state to state is almost like another country. Yeah. But I understand New York is just insane with stupidity and all that stuff. And
I think people are done with it. Maybe New York City in the microcosm, but like up here and upstate all the way to Western New York, people don't give no fucks and they're the most toxic. But I was working Canada a lot, Crossfire, Border City Wrestling, and 2 other companies.
I always worked in Canada. I'm never going. I don't know. Like,
not jabbed. You got to download. Like I'd even download their little tracking app.
Stop can, right?
And then I'd get a negative test here, and that should be enough. But if I go to the border and I don't have a vax, you can't come in. But they can come here and then go back. Mm-hmm. How fucked is that? They don't have to have any vax or proof to come into America now, and they can cross right back over to Canada because they'll probably have their can app. But for anybody else, it's still this weird jump through all these hoops. But the fact that they come up with my body, my choice, and it fits their little narrative here. But then when it's what we want to do to bend down to big pharma, and you'll say what's what, and blood clots and people dying and passing out. Oh, don't worry about, no, that's not your choice. You're against society and grandma. If you don't do that, then you're just the worst person ever. So the hypocrisy runs wild in the exact same phrase.
I know. And it's Deborah, right? Fuentes. My brain is like slow today, but she says actually 5 to 7% is related to medical management as well, like babies with birth defects or congenital issues. And I'm sure there's also issues with when the mother's life is in danger too. So I'm not discounting that.
Right, but let's put it all together.
Right now, I'm strictly talking about the hypocritical aspect of it. And I totally believe in the right to abortion. I think that our mothers and grandmothers fought for it. Having a choice is very, very important. Nobody should be forced to have basically to carry a pregnancy that they're not going to take to handle.
Right. Or be too young to be
good at it. Yeah.
And not ready in their life. And if a woman wants to be a professional woman and doesn't want to give up her career, like all that's in there. And I'm definitely not trying to discredit your statistics and what it is with that percentage, because a life is a life is a life. But those are I think the point is those are used as the forefront red herring arguments that try to represent the other 90%. And it's just an easy, like, well, it's this and this. And if you don't agree with that, then what are you? Like, okay, now let's talk about the other 90% that are going out to, they act like let's talk about the other 90% of the girls who go to college. I don't want to say 90, your mom goes to college, that and just get knocked up at the club one night and want to continue on with their lives. Thank you. And put it out there that it's an easy out for them. You know what I mean? For to just have unprotected sex, be irresponsible, and go, I don't want to deal with the repercussions of what it really is. So nobody wants to shoulder that level of it when that's a far higher percentage. So even within the stats, there's like this shield of hypocrisy that they hide behind in the argument, but they don't want to acknowledge what might be real and going on with chicks popping Plan B pills like they're M&Ms after they wanted to go twerk at the club all night.
Yeah, and Disco L Gemstone, that's hilarious. You guys are just bringing out the tasteless jokes today. I love it. And Winona says, has anyone else noticed that the things that are going on now are eerily similar to the book Animal Farm? The government would love nothing more than for us to own nothing and fall in line without question. It goes back to government-owned slaves. And also subscriptions. It seems like everything is, subscription based, even right down to BMW's new heated seats, $18 a month to get your seats heated.
Crazy.
I mean, that's just poor taste right there.
Yeah.
You own a BMW and you can't have the seats heated unless you pay a subscription.
2 legs good, 4 legs bad, right? There's going to be a classism of people, the haves and the have-nots, and it's rules for thee, not for we. And that's another just massive.
There's that too. Again, hypocrites. So Eva says, so if you can't get an abortion in your state, but your condom failed, can you get a lawyer and sue? That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably a disclaimer for defective merchandise that they're protected under in that way, if you can't. So it does make the argument of gun companies being sued for mass shootings. What you're putting there is not a skewed logic, but a far cry from that. But, if we're talking about death and how it ends, what is it with inception? And is the gun versus the condom, responsible? Let's
do apples to apples.
Yeah.
If you are in a situation where someone's breaking into your house, and they have a machete and you have a gun and the gun misfires and it actually, you end up getting killed with the machete. Does your husband or wife have the right to sue the gun manufacturer for it being faulty because it didn't work right?
First of all, I wasn't expecting to be killed with a machete in this scenario, so I'm already thrown off.
Come on, you're being Hamin. Make it happen.
They're gonna go if it's gonna go. I guess
a machete.
Machete assassination on Ben Hamin. That's a good story on the way out, and there's plenty of dark jokes for that as well. Yeah. But yeah, can you sue the gun manufacturer for having a faulty product? Well, is it the gun or is it the bullet? And then we got
or the user. Is it user error?
The user error.
They'll always come back with the user error. Just like it's always pilot error. The guy could be a flight instructor for everybody, but all of a sudden it's pilot error.
I can't believe I was killed in this scenario because I was actually wearing a condom in my head at the time. So I was actually being safe, but I still ended up dying. So, but yeah, I mean, my short answer is there's some crazy fucking lawyer out there that will try it. You know what I mean? Let's see where we can go with this crazy shit. Because people, girls are suing that their parents because they didn't have an abortion and because they don't want to work. You see that in Generation Useless. She sued her parents because they didn't have an abortion, and now they have to take care of her for as long as she's their daughter. And she won, and then they revised it on appeal. But for a while, she was getting like $5,000 a month living expenses.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Like, how dare you have me? Now you owe me. Like,
okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. There was a dude that sued his parents for having him, bringing him into the world. And I thought it was insane, right? I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I really thought about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, man, life's hard. I should have thought about suing my parents. Now I'm stuck having to figure this shit out and fix my cracked phone screen and pick up my lame dog and pay my bills because they wanted to fuck and thought they would make a cute kid. And here I am, they're gone because they abused themselves. Dad's an alcoholic and mom smoked cigarettes and died, and they both died, and they left me here. And now I got to handle all this shit by myself. I didn't ask for it.
Right.
I didn't ask for it. I'd sue him. I did not ask to be brought here.
Right. That's the logic, right? But now we're just getting into like how far our society can spin out versus man versus in nature, you know what I mean? And just being mammals and procreating. You don't see hippos suing mother hippos for there's that doesn't exist in other parts of nature. So then it just spins into our want for fake money and power along those lines.
Oh my God, Chuck, who works for the airlines, he said Northwest employees years ago had tried to sue the airlines for making them lazy.
Wow. Your job requires so little. You've hurt my work ethic, and now I'm going to sue you.
Wow.
They spend more time working on getting paid on this stupid shit than if they just put their effort towards something productive. Then they'd have a much more enriched life. Like, what do you want to do? Just sit around and play PS5 all day while your parents pay for Subway and shit like that? Like, what kind of life are you leading to be fulfilled? It's just straight consumerism addiction.
On the flip side, are they just kind of looking for a loophole? Like, are they being smarter? Like, instead of, I'm just going to do what everybody else does, they're like, here's a loophole around this law. Maybe I'll just sue and see if I can make any money. And
but at the end of the day, is it good at the cost of ripping your fucking nuclear family apart and resentment?
No, I'm just saying.
Sure. I agree that there is ridiculous logics that lawyers will follow down that rabbit hole. Can I bring up a hypocrisy, which will probably bring up a fight if the wives upstairs hear me talking about it? How about the hypocrisy between men and women and the way we deal with each other? And I'm not saying this is everybody, and I try and be as good a communicator as I possibly can. But sometimes we snap back at the ones that we love or get snapped at in a way that if I was to initiate conversations like that or come back that way, we wouldn't be married for very long. So I feel some guys can lash out just as much. And I'm not talking man or woman, but the way that women can get away with some of the things in their anger, and guys just since the beginning of marriage, take it, it's not just mine. And if they were to come back and initiate some conversations with vitriol like that, it would be you'd be out the door with your shit in a garbage bag in 2 seconds. And I don't know what it is from our mothers or what have you that we can deal with that in a different way, and we just got to take it. But it seems like that you guys get away with a couple more tricks whenever you want to.
We use the hormone thing.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that's not a valid thing either, but
it's
control that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw something earlier this week, and it said anyone can be mean and shitty, but it shows a level of discipline and decency to be kind, especially when other people are being mean and shitty.
Right. And you always
like says the best revenge is prove them all wrong and successful. And Cool Awesome Dude said, I hope the chat enjoyed the 2 YouTube links I sent. What did you send? I must have missed it. Sometimes the chat's going so quickly, I have a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, you can scroll back through, you guys. It should be up in there. I'm in StreamYard right now, so I'm not able to click on anything specific.
Yeah. And Jada, they probably would say the condom sat in the wallet too long. There'd be all kinds of outs on that one.
So did I bury myself with that? Now I'm just a misogynist, and I just I can't take the hypocrisy of it all. I just wonder why there's a double standard even at that root level where somebody gets away with it and somebody doesn't.
Though there is a double standard. As much as we want to talk about equality for all, it's never going to happen. Just like why one of the wrestlers was posting about She-Hulk and how if that movie or if that TV show was done opposite where it was a guy beating up on, women, it wouldn't fly. But why is it okay for her to do that and show that? And he's speaking as somebody that I believe had been, probably beaten by one of his partners and had not been able to talk about it, because we do know that like 50% of the abuse out there is done by women. Men just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that as much too, and that's just them taking it, because there was this Instagram model, I forget her name, pretty blonde girl, and she just killed her boyfriend, stabbed him, but then there came out footage from them in the elevator on closed circuit camera, and he's just standing there while she's punching him in the face, and that abuse was probably handed down in her family, and that's what she witnessed. But he fell for pretty face and a big ass, and then everything else that comes with it, and then he gets stabbed in a domestic dispute and he's dead. And like, you don't expect to see the little blonde girl take out the 6'3", 6'4" athletic guy, but he's just sitting there taking it, and it ends up in a bad situation, and now she's charged with murder.
Of course. Because we can be just as violent as men. Yeah. And are we seeing more demasculinity in our culture?
Sure.
Miss Fuentes is asking. I think so, but some people would argue that and say we are seeing a softening of the masculinity. They have always been. I'll agree that yes, we are, but I'll take the opposite tack just for the sake of argument and say that maybe men are softening because they don't have to be as hard anymore, because they don't have to go out and raise the village and hunt and
chop wood, carry water is what I say.
Yeah, chop wood, carry water. So maybe now they need to learn how to handle, be sensitive and listen.
Is that what women want, though? They say they want sensitive and they want that. And I like your question, Miss Fuentes, midwife. Hopefully you're delivering some beautiful babies out there. But, there has been a concerted effort from NBA players wearing skirts and things along those lines. I think we passed demasculinity and are now on to transgender confusion. They did the demasculinity thing. That was the gateway to this for what they want to push to get away from anything that's mainstream sexuality, to confuse that. And that's happened in the rap game. They've definitely softened a lot of African Americans to go from a strong black man, and by design to make that popularization from whatever, Little Nas X.
Eva says she disagrees. Why do you disagree? And I'll tell you one thing that pisses me off a little bit is the tiptoeing around the transgender, like letting them do and say whatever they want. But if women did the same thing, they would be banned or kicked out. So it annoys me when you are a person for equal rights. That means equal rights. That doesn't mean gay and trans get extra rights or extra special treatment, extra special privilege.
Sure.
So, trans privilege apparently means you can do and say whatever the hell you want and it's all okay. That's not how it works. And we have to stop with that, because I've seen a few things where there have been situations where somebody has just been an asshole, but because they're trans, you can't tell them they're an asshole.
Right.
Like, no, because they'll call you transphobic. It's like, no, this has nothing to do with your gender or sexuality. It's just because you are an asshole as a human being.
Yeah, and they want to use that get out of jail free card because they know it's a hot button issue, that they can play that if they need to, and that's
so. If you want equal rights, then you need to abide by equal rights. That means you get treated equally too, same as anybody else. You don't get special rights.
It's going to be like an affirmative action within an affirmative action for those who had the upper hand, who then were marginalized for minority groups to be affirmatively action into whatever positions. Then the former majority will become the minority and then have to have certain spots given to them because all they have to do is bitch about it. It's just it's a snake biting its own tail at the end of the day instead of doing the right thing. But You disagree? I disagree. I think that there's a far lack of chop wood, carry water men who know how to track a buck, put a trap line out there, catch a trout, do what needs to be done. And there's shows like, not Survivor, but
Sorry, I just laughed about trans wealthy. Can us trans wealthy people be acknowledged?
I mean,
I want to be trans wealthy.
me too. Me too.
So
I'd like
Eva
to
says,
identify as a billionaire. Can I just identify as one and not be?
I know. Eva says two different things for your man to be more equal partner on emotional level at home versus dressing like a woman in a man's sport. So, am I reading that right? It's two different things. So for your man to be an equal partner on an emotional level at home versus dressing like a woman in a men's sport. Okay. So
yeah, but I don't think being an equal partner at home has anything to do with, how you would have to go play a sport that way. Just because you are vulnerable with somebody, man or woman, if they're your partner, that doesn't make you less masculine. It's the fact of like, I think it all started kind of with the Jersey Shore metrosexual stuff.
wait,
So,
are we talking skirts here or kilts? Because I got to put my foot down with the kilt.
yeah, no, I'm down with the
I'm
kilt.
totally cool with the kilt.
Sure. Yeah, they weren't stunting with it. That was just what they did,
Wear that shit in public.
Absolutely. Skirts.
Wear it to my house. I'm cool with it. Yeah, right? Love a man in a kilt. Thank you, Jada.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yes. She says, Eva says skirts, not kilts.
And just to go back to the thing with the non-masturbation guys like that, I think that's a part of them trying to be chop wood, carry water, disciplined dudes. And they might come off as a little weird white right wing, and they very well may be. But I think they're trying to get away from what is Hollywood going to market to me and my generation this month that everybody bites on, and it pushes some weird morality and pushes us further from having the nuclear family, so you push the pendulum one way, it's going to swing back just as far the other.
It is. And Player says, Dennis Rodman dressed like a girl when he played, or I don't know if he dressed like a girl exactly, but when he played for the Bulls, nobody cared. And it's true.
Nobody cared. It was the biggest story.
Well, I don't know how old you are, Playa, but I kind of lived through that, and it was all over the place. It also, I mean, it was a big deal. But
remember, he was on House of Style with what was her name, Cindy Crawford, and he had like the bikini briefs on. He had his huge wang, was like just like in the camera in 3D, like coming out at you. Like I think I had to get.
If you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah, I had to get an abortion after that episode.
Oh God! So I mean, whatever. People have, exactly. RuPaul's been around forever, and then Tu Wong Fu. Yeah, I mean, this is I just the media thing for distraction right now.
Right, but these are concerted efforts to get RuPaul as the normalization of that, and I can see where they want to, and then made their money. And Tu Wong Fu is exactly what I'm saying. When you take Wesley Snipes and put him in a dress, when you take The Rock and dress him up like the Tooth Fairy, like when you do Medea has Christmas or whatever, all of these things are reinforcing to that culture to cross dress, that we can take our strongest men and turn them into effeminate, whatever we need to. Like that, this is Hollywood. This is how Hollywood for years has snuck this through this. And I hate to even say LGBTQ agenda, because I have so many gay friends on both sides who are professionals who don't partake in this, like the freak show aspect culture of it, which is part of it.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's like you got wrestler. Okay, so all right. So you have wrestlers out there like Christopher Daniels and Roderick Strong, and then you have the freak show aspect like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. Those are the ones people are going to remember because they're freak shows.
Right.
And they dress like a girl's bike. But, you know what I'm saying? Everything goes back to wrestling. Everything comes back to wrestling,
always.
no matter what.
Well, I mean, let's get this is the A show. Go ahead.
Somebody said, saw you get suggested to be a guest for GAWTV
Oh,
on YouTube.
absolutely. Got to do it.
What?
That's
What's?
Mickey James's Gaw network show with all the girls from wrestling. It's definitely everybody you've always come up with and
Oh yeah.
talked. Yeah,
Oh
for sure. You'd
sure.
be great on Gaw. And it was great to get to talk to you with Serena hanging out this weekend. She loved
Yeah.
it. Say
I
what's
love
up.
Serena.
Me too. We had
Oh,
a great
Grown Ass Woman podcast. Oh, I love the
yes.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do it. That sounds fun.
Yeah, she's gonna be on Rip Rogers' show soon, and I think she was just on with Stevie Richards was on Gaw, so definitely we can reach out and try and get that done.
Yeah, if you guys want to see me anywhere, like if you want to see me at a Comic-Con or on a podcast, ask for me. Reach out and request me on social media or email them. It does help. It helps a lot because customer's always right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so
Great conversations tonight, you guys. Look up some micro habits and do's and don'ts. And if you're trying to make a change, I think the best way to do is with these micro habits, because if you can lock them in for a week, I don't care if it's getting up and drinking a glass of water to hydrate. That's not just because of the hydration. Now you've done something. You did that one. What else can you do and add on and improve your life? And I've heard that it takes someone doing something 18 times and it's locked in as a habit. I don't
3
know
weeks.
why that is in our
Yeah.
minds, but 18 times on the regular, to get a string of workout going and just becomes part of your regular lifestyle. So micro habits are a great way to kind of get your foot in the door, as opposed to like, I'm committing to this for 9 months straight. Well,
Mhm.
it's a lot harder to do that. So you can build that discipline in a positive way and pick which ones you like. I got one up here that says 80 best micro habits. So check that out on Google and then see what applies to your life right now. Saying yes to opportunities, or training your brain, or decompressing and meditating, something that we don't do nearly enough.
Yes, downtime is important. And I'll leave you guys with a couple of short, quick, good news stories. So, how the airlines are all messed up right now, but this is inadvertently some good news stories about the airlines. And both of them center around Southwest, my favorite
Okay.
airline, of course. So there was a girl who was leaving Tampa. She went to school in Tampa, and she was leaving for the summer to go back home, and didn't realize after she emptied her dorm that she could not take her fish with her. So she didn't know what to do. So one of the flight attendants took the fish, and they exchanged numbers, and they said, after trying to figure out what to do, they said, well, we'll watch him for you. We'll take care of him for you. And she was like, okay, thinking, yeah, all right, sure. I'll probably never see him again. Well, that guy and his husband took care of that fish for 4 months. And, she would text and say, how is he doing? And it's like, we just got him a bigger bowl. So they went and got him a bigger bowl and hooked him up and gave him a nice little thing. And when she came back to finish her senior year down here in Tampa, she came back and picked up the fish. So they took good care of him. There's a picture of them all together. So just random Southwest flight attendant took care of her animal for
That's
4 months because she couldn't take him on the plane. The second one was there was a flight from LA to Hawaii. It was a 6-hour flight. And on that flight, everybody on the flight got a ukulele. And there was a woman on there who gave them all a ukulele lesson.
Wow.
So they all got a free lesson and a free ukulele.
What an experience. Well, I mean, free, that is probably included in the cost of their ticket, but at the same time, that's a group mind effort and an experience that's a shared experience with each other, and the other one on a one-to-one basis of a stranger. That's one of these micro habits. Say yes, do something for a stranger. Go over and shovel off that sidewalk, in the wintertime of a neighbor or what have you, and don't expect anything in return. And you're going to feel better about yourself and what you do for mankind that day. And wow, those are two great stories to end on, absolutely, and positivity with no hypocrisy woven in whatsoever.
So, yes. So be nice to people. It's always a little bit more difficult to be kind than it is to be nasty sometimes. Sure. So the more you are kind, the more it comes back to you. I know that's bad, probably English right there, but hey, you know what I mean?
There was no LY on there, so you still hold the upper ground as far as
here you go. Be kind.
Yeah, be kind.
Don't be fairly kind. Just be kind.
Awesome.
So, We'll give you that.
Oh, y'all, yeah, boom. That's be our final biddies for titties tonight.
Yes.
You guys, appreciate you tuning in here at the A Show. Ape, we were on A Show YouTube, twitch.tv/the A Show, and Hamin Media Group YouTube.
We got on our own YouTube this week.
We got it. I got it.
Right on. And this
works.
is my birthday week, so nobody's singing happy birthday to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you want me to croon to you real quick? Or
no. You do it next Tuesday when I'm already turned.
Well, maybe I'll have Big Ray record something because Big Ray's got that chocolate rain style voice, and it's deep and sexy. So we'll get you a nice happy birthday message. You guys send her those Amazon gift cards. Go check out her website or OnlyFans. All that kind of stuff. Subscribe to our Patreon. You're early adopters here at twitch.tv/the A Show. Subscribe using your Amazon Prime. And we appreciate everybody in the chat hanging and banging with us as the birthday messages roll in.
Yes, thank you.
To the Hut, Disco L Gemstone, doing it all. But on your website, there's a place where they can send any birthday gifts that they want, correct? Or is there?
Yeah, they can, and I have my on Twitter. It's Real April Hunter currently. I'm still using the new one. Okay. I have my little Amazon wish list thing on there. Just look for the naked picture where all I'm doing is covering my bits with Amazon gift cards because I love the gift cards. They always fit. They're the right color. They're in style. Never have to adjust them. So they work for everything around here. For the dogs, so they're my favorite. They're my favorite.
Absolutely.
So, Jamie, rum.
I've had an awesome month. I want to say thank you and happy birthday, April. Before it goes down, I'll be one of the first. And when I'm drinking some mojitos and mezcal down in Mexico, I'll definitely try not to get smashed on the rocks. That's what I'm going to.
Yeah, stay away from the jetties. Okay, that's what if you take nothing away from this show at all, other than don't jerk off lots of. You don't jerk your hours off, and ruin your day. Also, stay away from jetties in the ocean.
Be a hypocrite. Don't use LY words if you can avoid it. And
yes.
Let's make some.
You can take away from this one.
There is.
Don't outshine your master. Yeah.
Wow. That's
and send April presents. She loves you for it.
Absolutely. And I bow to you, Sensei April, the Illuminati hottie. Never could I outshine you in any way. I'm glad you're not too banged up from your trip down to Florida, you guys. And thank you very much for joining the A Show. Ape, send them home.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. We will see you next Tuesday. 7:30 Eastern. We love you. Mwah. Thank you.